And a new video has now been released by Iran that claims evidence that a US missile likely hit an Iranian school where 175 people, many of them being children, were reportedly killed. US Tomahawk hit naval base beside Iranian school, as you can see in this video, which has been released by Iran. Now, this evidence contradicts US President Donald Trump's claim that Iran was responsible for the strike at the school that killed 175 people, most of them children. So this particular video has been released by Iran, and this adds to the evidence that it was an American missile that likely hit an Iranian elementary school where 175 people were killed, which also included children. And we already saw visuals of the mass funeral of the girls who were killed in this attack, and after which the US had been claiming that this was a propaganda being spread by Iran and that it was in fact Iran that was behind the attack on the school. And now with this video, this has been released by Iran. Iran is claiming that it was in fact an American missile that hit the Iranian elementary school, contrary to what the US is claiming. India Today Global's Pranay Upadhyay is now joining us on the story. Pranay, Iran has released a video of the attack on the elementary school in Iran, and Iran is claiming that America's claims were false. Iran, with this video, has debunked the claims which were made by US that it did not attack the school, and in fact, Iran had a role behind the attack, was being claimed by US.
Ajay, this is an Iranian effort to counter the statement made by US President Donald Trump, who said that the responsibility of the Minar elementary school attack lies with the Iranian authorities, to which Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi also said that why will we kill our own people, and that too, like, young girls, because the school which was targeted and struck by a missile actually, resulted into the death of around 160 young girls in that school. But the newly surfaced video reportedly shows that the U.S. missile striking an IRGC naval command in Minar near a school where around 160 children were killed. And people say that this missile appears to be the Tomahawk missiles, and we know that the U.S. did use Tomahawk missiles in this operation, and this IRGC naval base, which was near that elementary school, reportedly was the actual target, but somehow I think the missile either got deflected or there was some miscalculation that it targeted that elementary school. So clearly, this is yet another evidence. Though this is not the first evidence. In fact, with many calculations and many analysts have already indicated toward a possible miscalculation of the U.S. missile strike. And in fact, Admiral Brad Cooper, the U.S. CENTCOM chief, also said that they do not deliberately target the civilian infrastructure, the civilian facilities. But as President Donald Trump also said that in war, collaterals do happen. However, Iran is trying to fix the responsibility on United States for this. And in fact, yesterday, Iranian Foreign Minister Mr. Araghchi wrote a letter to all UN member states and urging them to contain U.S. military operation and the U.S. and Israel's joint military operation against Iran, because this is resulting into large number of civilian casualties. And in fact, both United States and Israel are targeting the civilian infrastructure. He also mentioned about the Minar school attack carried out by the United States.
Also heard the White House press secretary claiming that US does not target civilians and that this is a propaganda which is being spread by Iran, that US was behind this attack, but it is in fact Iran itself which was behind this attack.
Actually, I think Carol Levitt said, White House press secretary, when she was asked about this elementary school attack, she said that US is investigating this case. And after that, the statement came from President Donald Trump himself. He said that the responsibility lies with the Iranians for this attack. However, he did not explain that how it is Iran's responsibility and how did this elementary school was struck by a missile by Iranians, if he is claiming so. But clearly, this video, which is apparently shot from around 250 meters from the spot. From the impact site, this clearly shows that how a missile was approaching towards this possible target, and how this missile actually struck the school, and we have seen the unfortunate incident and the very very moving visuals of those marked graves of these young students and young girls. This would be this is a very catastrophic thing to take place in any conflict for that matter, and in fact, US has also thereafter now issued a statement and in fact an advisory for Iranian nationals, and they said that they are cautioning that civilians should be away from the military infrastructure.
All right.
Because US and Israel.
All right, Pranay, thank you for those details, and we'll keep coming back to you for more updates on this. So the face-off between Iran and United States continue. Iran in the latest has posted this video in which it claims that it was in fact an American missile that hit the elementary school in Minar. And remember, earlier, White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt refused any involvement in the attack on the Iranian elementary school. Listen in.
Did the United States airstrike a girls' elementary school and kill 175 people?
Not that we know of, Sean, and the Department of War is investigating this matter, and I would just tell you very strongly, the United States of America does not target civilians, unlike the rogue Iranian regime that targets civilians, that kills children, that has killed thousands of their own people in the past several weeks, and uses propaganda quite effectively, and unfortunately, many people in this room have fallen for that propaganda, so I would caution you from pointing the finger at the United States of America when it comes to targeting civilians, because that's not something that these armed forces do.
So who really attacked the elementary school in Iran? The question still remains, with there being claims and counterclaims between the United States and Iran.